Donald Trump is panicking like never before, and it showed during a chaotic press conference with UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Trump rambled, lashed out, and unraveled so badly that Starmer had to shut him down after one attack crossed the line. It was a meltdown for the books. We'll break it all down. But first, if you haven't yet, drop a like and hit subscribe. It really helps support the channel. Now, before we can get into the moment that the Prime Minister had to butt in on one of Donald Trump's insane rants, I want to start with where this all began with Donald Trump screaming about Jerome Powell.
Do you foresee a rate cut this week? Do you expect
A rate cut?
Yeah,
Meaning a tax cut?
No. Do you expect the Fed to cut rates this
Oh,
week?
I think he has to. You had 11 cuts, you know? In Europe, they had 11 cuts. In other places, they had 10 or 11 cuts. And we had none, but I'm not going to say anything bad. You know, we're doing so well, even without the rate cut. With the rate cut, it would be better. It affects our housing a little bit. Look, we should be 3 points lower. Each point is $360 billion. Can you imagine that? That's big numbers. Each point, 1 point of cut, is the equivalent of $360 billion in savings. That's big stuff, you know. Those are big numbers in the U.S. Everything's big. He should cut. A smart person would cut. You know, he leaves very soon, so it's like one of those things. But I'll miss him greatly.
Donald Trump increasingly struggles to understand even the simplest questions. In a recent example, he was asked about a rate cut and didn't realize it referred to the Federal Reserve, a basic topic he often pretends to discuss. Instead, he launched into one of his usual incoherent rants, and it didn't stop there. He also tried to speak on UK immigration, a subject he clearly doesn't understand, and what followed was another stream of rambling nonsense.
We're very proud about that.
Well,
we protect it.
What's your advice on the small boats crisis in this country? How would you deal with it? What's your advice on dealing with the small boats crisis in this country?
What did he say?
The small boats
It's about the boats coming over the channel, so we're taking a lot of action to stop people coming over the channel who shouldn't be here, stopping them coming in the first place.
Well,
and then
look,
returning them
immigration
when we
is
can.
a big factor, and I think, frankly, if they're coming from other countries and you don't know who they are, and are they coming from prisons? We have them where they came in from prisons. We're moving them all out. We had a border last June, just recent, last month. We had 0 people come into the country, 0, other than coming through legal means. If you're stopping immigration and stopping the wrong people, I give my hats are off to you. You're doing not a good thing. You're doing a fantastic thing. So I know nothing about the boats. But if the boats are loaded up with bad people, and they usually are, because, other countries don't send their best. They send people that they don't want. And they're not stupid people. And they send the people that they don't want. And I've heard that you've taken a much stronger stance on immigration.
Yeah, we've done a lot of work stopping them coming. We just signed an agreement to return them, and we've returned 35,000, in fact, under the first year of this Labour government, of people who shouldn't be in this country. So we're very pleased that we're getting on with returning people who've got no right to be here.
That's great. As somebody that loves this, I love this country. My mother was born in, as you know, my mother was born in Scotland, and it's an incredible place, a beautiful place. And if that be the case, I congratulate you. That's exactly, because, Europe is a much different place than it was just 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And they've got to get their act together. If they don't, you're not going to have Europe anymore as you know it. And you can't do that. This is a magnificent part of the world, and you cannot ruin it. You cannot let people come in here illegally. And what happens is there'll be murderers, there'll be drug dealers, there'll be all sorts of things that other countries don't want. And they send them to you, and they send them to us, and you've got to stop them. And I hear that you've taken a very strong stand on immigration, and taking a strong stand on immigration is imperative.
Trump's press conference quickly spiraled. He rambled about immigration, Jerome Powell, and lashed out incoherently, clearly confused and agitated. In typical fashion, he tried to shift attention by calling for the jailing of VP Harris, Joe Biden, and Gavin Newsom. Then he took it further. turning his attacks toward international figures like the Mayor of London, prompting the UK Prime Minister to finally step in and shut it down.
Will you go to London, or are you worried it's no longer welcome?
About what?
Will you visit London during the state visit? Or are you
I
worried?
will. I'm not a fan of your mayor.
Why not?
I think he's done a terrible job, the mayor of London. But a nasty person. I think he's done. I think
He's a friend of mine, actually.
no. I think he's done a terrible job. But I would certainly visit London. Yeah.
Would you want Gaza? So MP Nigel Farage has asked Parliament to be
Now, of course, on its face, this would be an idiotic thing to do. And of course, Keir Starmer is going to butt in and say, "No, Donald, stop it. That's a friend of mine and you're in our country. You're not just going to attack leaders that are in like, this is idiotic, but this is Donald Trump. That would be bad on it." But what Trump then proceeded to say, what came directly after that, was probably the most embarrassing moment of this press conference, given the context of it all.
Mr. President, with the EU deal last night, you talked during the campaign about President Putin respecting you and not helping you have a relationship with him. Do you still feel that way, that he respects you, considering the conversations you've had that have been really nice?
Yeah. I've always gotten along with President Putin. I have had a great relationship with him. And he went through the Russia hoax, too. You know, I mean, it was, we used to talk about it. We used to say, you know, it's too bad we really can't do anything between our country. Because if we did, they'd say, oh, it's, you know, some. Look, I was tough on Putin because I was the one that closed up Nord Stream, and Biden came along and opened it up. I was very tough on Putin in one way, but we got along very well. And I never really thought this would happen. I thought we'd be able to negotiate something, and maybe that'll still happen. But it's very late down the process, so I'm disappointed. And you know, the funny thing is that their economy isn't that big, and it's having a hard time right now. But it's a relatively small economy, a strong military, but strong economy. And it used to be a strong economy. Now it's not. He's going through a lot. Economically, it's not easy, but it's pretty small, you know, compared to that magnificent size of that land. The land is massive. It's got, I guess, 9 time zones or something. It's a massive piece of land. Russia could be so rich. It could be so rich. It could be thriving like practically no other country. And they're holding that back because we can't. He wants to do trade deals with us. He talks about it all the time. He wanted to. And I envision that a lot of trade with Russia. They have a lot of valuable things. When you talk about rare earth, they have serious rare earth, right? They have just about every form you can have. So, you know, Russia could be so rich right now. Instead, they spend all their money on war. They spend everything on war and killing people, and it doesn't make sense to me. I thought he would want to end this thing quickly. I really felt it was going to end, but every time I think it's going to end, he kills people.
Could a meeting help, and are you considering it? Has been proposed.
I don't know. I'm not, you know.
Trump attacked the mayor of London with lazy, hateful rhetoric, likely fed to him by Stephen Miller, linking immigration with danger as usual. But what made it worse was how he pivoted straight from that to praising Vladimir Putin, despite repeatedly claiming he'd secure a ceasefire with Russia on day one. He's done nothing but fumble. And now he's back to gushing over Putin, saying they respect each other and that Putin thinks I'm fantastic. It's delusional and deeply revealing. This clip is right here.
Yeah, I mean, well, you're the press. I'm reiterating it to you. Yeah, I'd say 10 to 12 days. I'll announce it probably tonight or tomorrow. But there's no reason to wait. If you know what the answer is going to be, why wait? And it would be sanctions and maybe tariffs, secondary tariffs. You know what a secondary tariff is. And look, the Russian economy, I don't want to do that to Russia. I love the Russian people. They're great people. I don't want to do that to Russia, but this thing, they're losing a lot of Russians. They've lost 1 million Russians. And that's the, you know, sons, that's the sons and daughters of Russian families, they leave the house, they go, bye mom, bye dad, and then they get blown away. And Ukrainian too. Look at Ukraine. It's a disaster what's happened there. But it continues to go on. As you know, we made a deal where the European Union is essentially involved, but it's NATO, and we're supplying weapons to NATO. NATO's now paying because the United States, because of Biden's in for $350 billion, the European nations are in for about $100 billion. Should be the opposite way, by the way, because we have a big ocean in between. Should be the opposite way.
Trump supporters are starting to realize they've been lied to, like about the Epstein files, but still can't question anything else. That's how Trump keeps control, by targeting people who avoid deeper thinking. MAGA prefers surface-level common sense over facts, repeating talking points without research. It's not curiosity, it's ignorance. Just like Trump, they misjudge everything by how it looks, not how it works. And meanwhile, Trump keeps proving his incompetence, now cluelessly ranting about Gaza too. This clip is right here.
On what they used to call the Gaza Strip, you don't hear that line too much anymore. You don't hear the Gaza Strip, but it is the Gaza Strip, and it's amazing that it's not being handled a little bit differently. We're going to set up food centers, and we're going to do it in conjunction with some very good people, and we're going to supply funds. And we just took in trillions of dollars. We've got a lot of money, and we're going to spend a little money on some food, and other nations are joining us. I know your nation's joining us, and we have all of the European nations joining us, and others also have called, and they want to be helpful. So we're going to set up food centers and where the people can walk in and no boundaries. We're not going to have fences, and they can't. They see the food from 30 you would say yards away, and they see the food. It's all there, but nobody's at it because they have fences set up that nobody can even get it. It's crazy what's going on over there.
This administration thrives on cruelty. They see hate as strength, not a flaw. And right now, our tax dollars are being used to starve men, women, and children while we're lied to about it. Both parties look away, but we won't. This is a genocide. Trump won't care. But we can still pressure the rest, and we will. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I will see you soon.